Joe Zikas from YoChicago.com. I'm sitting at a Starbucks in Bucktown this morning with Robert John Anderson from Baird and Warner. I'm curious about Bucktown. It's an area that I've never understood, I think, but it obviously has an awful lot of attractions for people. So you willing to put me in a car and show me around?
I would love to. We're in the western side of Bucktown, so a little bit north and a little bit west at Hoyne and Homer. Just a couple seconds away from the Starbucks that we were at a minute ago. And I happen to believe that this is a very good example of why people move to Bucktown. This gentleman is a local developer. He happens to own a lot of rental property in the area, obviously committed and a fan of the neighborhood. He took two Victorian row houses, conjoined them, has since acquired the lot to the south of it, and has made a home for himself and his family. So it's himself, his classic sort of the golden retriever and twin children.
A 75-foot lot would be unimaginable in Lincoln Park, I think.
Right, and wait till you see what's just down the street here. So you've got that, which was trying to preserve the original architecture. You've now got 1909 North Hoyne, which is a development, new construction. They would have bought the lot. You've got an old storefront space. I actually sold this house. This was an empty nester couple who were living in a modern, contemporary condo, wanted to keep that contextual, modern effect. They moved to this property, have a rooftop deck, developed it.
We're seeing the old workers' cottages that at one time were a lot of the housing stock in Bucktown.
Right, and now you have another one that was a small cottage that never got developed, that was torn down, this new construction single-family home on it. Because of the Bucktown lots range in depth, some of them can be 80 feet, as short as 80 feet deep or 100 feet deep like this one. They don't have a backyard, but they've developed a rooftop deck on top of the garage. And then look at this. This is multiple lots here, again, just down the street, and is now a new single-family house.
So the site were three lots?
I think it's 3 lots.
And loft development condos across the street. And again,
look at this, look at the depth, look at the size of that. And there was one single-family house that sat on that lot for a very long time before it was developed.
Very interesting new construction across the street.
And yet somebody went very traditional. This is another local developer for Bucktown. Did a very traditional facade, very traditional, but yet has a great courtyard, very innovative design.
We don't see much innovation in design in Lincoln Park.
Well, I think to your point, you were saying earlier that they're trying to stay in context of what's around it. This is Wilmot. Wilmot was a block that for a very long time sat vacant because it was dead-ended and it paralleled Milwaukee Avenue. Yet once people started acquiring the lots and taking advantage of the width, they created courtyard. Look at this on the right. This is a gentleman that came from Lincoln Park, bought in the neighborhood because he wanted width, he wanted a little bit more individuality, and look at the size of the width of the lot here. Wide. There's wide again.
Wide again. And a dead end, so it's very quiet. Quiet street.
We're actually up against the back of the what is Aldi's, which is owned by Trader Joe. So it's been a long Bucktown goal. Everybody's hopeful that the Trader Joe will convert the Aldi's.
Talk to me about that cost advantage. Give me some ideas of what a double lot, for example, might go for in a good area in Bucktown versus prime area in Lincoln Park.
At the top of the market, they would have been as high as $700,000. market has obviously corrected itself, adjusted. Since that adjustment, single lots have been selling 125-foot depth. Single lot might sell for 350 to 400. So you're able to get a double lot parcel, build a single family home on a lot that you'd have to pay the same. You'd get twice as much land for the price that you'd get in Lincoln Park. Probably 50-foot wide, whereas Lincoln Park you'd have to have a 25-foot wide lot. So the advantage to coming to Bucktown affords you that width and footage.
Any trade-offs? Anything you're giving up by coming to Bucktown?
You are distancing yourself from the lake. I mean, obviously your experience, it becomes a destination now to go to the lake. You're not driving along the lake in your commute back and forth from home and work. I think the trade-offs are that Bucktown's become very much, local grocery stores, Bucktown's become very much a child-friendly, family-oriented neighborhood that it wasn't always known for.
I was amazed by the number of strollers that I saw waiting for a few minutes at Starbucks.
It's not uncommon. But I'll show you some more width examples.
A lot of very interesting, innovative architecture over here compared to Lincoln Park.
Well, this is a double lot. Lincoln, I think Bucktown, for whatever reason, has sort of been identified as where you can come for modern architecture, creative ideas. I mean, this is literally just a concrete box that's been renovated.
And some great neighborhood bars and hangouts.
On the corners.
Now, you're an architect by training, right? Weren't you?
Studied architecture, never actually got licensed. And so this is another proper Bucktown location. This is actually 4 lots that have been put together.
Are they for sale or?
No, a gentleman purchased them for the intent of building his own single-family home on it. So this will be a single-family home on 4 lots in Bucktown. It's in planning stages. The architect is working on it. Plans exist.
So 4 lots. We're looking at $3 million or more worth of home.
They were bought at the height of the market. So yeah, well, that's at least a $4 million home.
So Bucktown has become a neighborhood that has definitely arrived in that case.
Because people could buy the land, whatever. When I say affordable, I don't mean to say, I understand what I'm talking in dollars, but this is a lot. This lot was acquired as a side yard. This is on anywhere from, I think there were 5 lots here, and then there now are 3. And then I think 6 or 7 lots that are now comprised of 3 single-family houses.
Now, obviously, that becomes
opposite a magnet school.
That becomes a very rarefied market. What opportunities are there in condos and maybe more modest homes?
Yeah, the condos are becoming less and less because of that. Because I think because of the large single-family home appeal, schools are getting better. I'll show you down. You'll see this. I think some
Zonneray.
This is spectacular. So I'm hoping I can convert you into being a bigger Bucktown fan too. But
well, I wouldn't say I'm not a fan. I'm not negative on Bucktown. Obviously, you can't be. It's
well, this is
I'm just trying to understand.
This is 1823 Honore. It's a spectacular build out. Across the street is 1822 Honore. Modern, contemporary, wide. This is a double lot house.
And 2 weeks ago, we looked at a beautiful home with a 1-bedroom coach house that you had for sale a block north of here.
Just north of here, exactly. This was an old barrel factory that was 4 or 5 lots that now houses 3 houses.
And this is what will become
This will become the Bloomingdale Trail.
Bloomingdale Trail.
Or the Chicago's version of the High Line. So,
obviously, apart from price, what are the other factors that move people to come to Bucktown as opposed to settling on Lincoln Park? I know traffic is an issue in parts of Lincoln Park.
well, I find there's a slightly less congested. You can come to Bucktown, and because the density is a little lower, you don't have as much congestion as you'd experience in Lincoln Park, or certainly as East Lincoln Park.
There's the fabulous Club Lucky, grand neighborhood institution.
Just amazing to be able to walk to in the middle of a summer. You come home from work, you're tired, you can come over here, eat outside, and quite honestly visit with your neighbors while dining. This is another wide house here on the right. There was a lot and a half, or that was a custom built house. It's a Miller Hull house that was done out of Seattle. House on the left that we're coming up. This is interesting. So up on the right, immediately to our right, is a house on a double lot. New construction, Environs building. Opposite it to the west is a house on a triple lot.
A lot of activity.
Yeah, this one's actually amazing in the sense that it's a net zero energy, platinum LEED certified, green roof.
The Roman brick that Frank Lloyd Wright favored.
Mm-hmm. Modern yet classic. And I love the contextualness of it sitting next to a classic Bucktown cottage. I think it's a great neighborhood. I mean, I think you come home, you park, you can walk to a multitude of restaurant options.
You have the grand old churches that go back to another day.
Mm-hmm. What's also been a really big appealing factor for a lot of people is that they can do reverse commutes. If your partner, your wife, your husband commutes to the western suburbs, they can get easy access to the expressway. Somebody can take the Metra and go downtown or go up north. There's always you can always see the fluidity of the people going to Ravinia, that you can pick up the Metra and go to Ravinia. Come back, and again, here's another. This house is currently on market, I think right now at $3.5 million. Double lot house, courtyard facing the west, so it gets great sun. And then this parcel was the Sisters of the Resurrection, and they sold this off, and the lots were sold, so many people acquired. There's now 2 houses under construction that are being built. There's a house going up on the corner that's a 43 or 44 foot wide lot. There's a standard lot adjacent to it, and a new condo project.
Kind of urban tree house.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually going forward.
Yep. Rehnquist, they have sold at least 2/3 of it. And this is an old funeral home that was converted. This was the club that was so controversial. MCM did this. This was architecturally, it was a very interesting building. It got torn down, and they built the single-family house here. Single-family house converted from an old funeral home across the street. But this is what I love, is that when this stuff stays, people are able to turn it into a home.
We're at Hermitage and Wabansia at the moment. Heading westbound.
Local neighborhood.
The Bucktown Market, yep.
Yeah, grocery stores that we're coming up against again, Club Lucky.
I haven't been in Lucky in a while. Is it still as much of a mob scene on weekends as it used to be?
Yes, it's very fun. But again, the strollers come up, depending on what time of the evening you're there. You'll have the kids.
Now, that's something I never would have seen in Bucktown if you go back 12 or 15 years.
Oh, really?
The strollers are, well, you've been here how long?
I've been here since the mid-'80s.
And what kind of changes have you seen in the neighborhood since then?
Well, I've seen the nightclub, the nightclub action go away to a lot of the restaurants. I've seen, the farmers market, the movies in the parks are big events now. It's fun to watch all the kids and families and me going to them.
Now, Bucktown gets a lot of attention for hipsters, but I don't see that many hipsters over here anymore.
They're here. They just come out later at night. And then you'll see, and then if you want the hipsters, you can come over here to North Avenue and get any of the retail.
Ah, yes.
It really, sort of addresses that, tries to pander down. This is the restaurants. I mean, this is where you can come and get all the restaurants, all the cafes.
And actually, yes, if we get to the intersection of North Avenue and Damon and Milwaukee, that's hipster central up ahead, isn't it?
Well, but that's another point. So you've got Cheetah Gym here on the right. To the west of that, you've got the Coyote Building. Coyote Building is going through a lot of changes right now, but it's pretty much understood that it's going to be. There's a lot of hotel interest for it right now. A couple hotel groups are looking at it to turn it into a small boutique hotel because of its proximity to the train. There's Lodge to the north of it that they can do either additional rooms, additional parking.
We have the great Flatiron Building over on the left.
Mm-hmm. You've even seen the tenants change in here. It's always been starving artists. And what's interesting is it just recently started turning into like small hair salons where the windows are no longer covered in red velvet drapes, but now they're, advertising for haircuts. The Marvin Envelope Building, which is just west of the Coyote Building, has been rumored a couple times, and I think it's happening, is that's going to become the new Lincoln Park Athletic Club. Has Larry Weiner, Mark Realty, has an interest in it, and is becoming a new health club.
Now, if we were here on a Saturday morning, it would be wall-to-wall people.
Mm-hmm. Got Red Hen Bread just to the north of us, Starbucks to the left. There's a new Caribou Coffee, David's Tea. Along Damon Avenue.
Stills has been here for a while.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting too is that just west of Damon Avenue here on North Avenue, there's been a lot of eateries that have just opened up. So it's expanding out from around the neighborhood.
So it is heading west?
Yeah, look at this. You've got quite a lot of sandwich shops. You've got a new grocery store here. Bucktown Fitness Club has been here for a very long time. But, what is it, Birchwood is down here on the left. I mean, it's expanding to the west of Damon Avenue. And my favorite parts up here on the right is that the minute you just come a little bit away from the congestion, you then go back into the historic neighborhood. There it is, Birchwood Kitchen. That's a big deal. A lot of people talking about. Then you go back into the history. The red brick, the limestone.
We're on Levitt and Concord here, and it's almost a Wicker Park looking home over on our right.
Mm-hmm. It's currently on market.
Where do you see the buys here? If for people who are looking to come to Bucktown, what are the things that you perceive as being good deals?
Well, I think if you're willing to do a little bit of work, it's interesting to me that not a lot of consumers want to. I think that people's schedules are hectic. If you're willing to, hire a contractor and do a couple repairs, do a couple updates, you can get a lot of money, a lot of bang for your buck.
This is a street that looks very much like Wicker Park.
We are in the historic Wicker Park area, and because we're just west of Milwaukee Avenue, this is where Bucktown and Wicker Park merge. But you're right, it feels very classic Wicker Park, Hoyne, love it.
Tell me about Scoop.
Scoop's originally came out of New York. They came here, converted an old import business, gas station prior to that. They were doing very, very well. So much so in the Chicago market that they've just opened a second location downtown Gold Coast. It's, a lot of retailers will almost test the market here in Bucktown. Chicago Park District, new Chicago Library. Daycare center right here across the street. See, you never would have seen this. Daycare center taking the kids to the library.
Lots of kids.
Speaking of kids, there's a great park over here. More kids.
More kids. Another line of kids.
Train of kids. This was very Frank Lloyd Wright-y. But it is not, not E, it is. It was inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright. This was done as a single-family house with a courtyard. This was one of the first new construction houses done in the neighborhood when I first came here.
The park you're talking about also has, if I recall, has a massively active dog park.
Yes, I'll show you right over here. Somebody just got involved. There's another person that just became a big advocate of it. I'll get you the name. And a lot of conversations about his expectations of it, but he's really made it a pet project and is going to develop it.
It's really fascinating to see the small 1.5-story workers' homes still side by side and still surviving a lot in the neighborhood.
I think that's what makes it a nice contrast. You've got new single family here on a double lot, a storefront space that's been reused. You've got the maturity of the trees opposed to some of the younger neighborhoods. I love these contrasts of new and old. See that here? Here's new construction. There's a perfect in the next year cottages. Oh, perfect. And Bucktown at its prime at noon.
Yep.
Midday.
And as we get a little further west, talk about a kitty Calcutta is Holstein Park. Mm-hmm. Holstein Park is...
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, with the swimming pool?
Yeah.
But look at this. This is nannies, moms, grandmas, dads, little, influx of the dogs not supposed to be in the park running around. And I happen to know there are people in Lincoln Park that come to this park, make it a regular stop.
Meeting with friends or
Yep,
just...
meeting with friends, meeting with other kids in the neighborhood. And again, wait till you see that. I love this. Homer, now going down Homer and seeing all the shepherd's cottages.
What's a shepherd's cottage?
It's a very good question. I believe it's simply just a style.
Just a style.
Right here, this is a historic block of Bucktown with these shepherd's cottages on the right.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an architectural style.
What would a home like that sell for? rehabbed?
Anywhere from 500 to mid eights, depending on what's been done to the interior of it.
500 would be...
Well, one just sold that somebody did much more of a lofty interior, very open, unconstructed, and then somebody else, maximized it by adding dormers and pushing out the back.
And new construction directly across the street.
This was a vacant lot a year ago.
And new construction, single family of that size would be
$8 million. It's a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,240 square feet. And another one of my favorite houses in Bucktown, another storefront space, converted storefront, attached 2-car garage.
preserving the
integrity, the history. And then this happens to be a coach house with a 2-car garage. He's a writer, uses this space as both a guest suite and studio writing space. Storefront in the front. They were very interested. I loved what they did with this space. They actually put the kitchen in the front of the house, put the living room in the back. So when you walk into the front, you walk into the kitchen, but you live off the yard in the back of it, and really maximized. And you'll see again, Bucktown, classic Bucktown is cottages down here, and then in contrast, you'll see some more modern architecture. So you've got some traditional red brick and limestone, and you have here more of a poured concrete, face brick, more modern interpretation.
endless variety.
Right. And then a row of cottages.